haven't they?
Yeah.
And I mean, we literally was at a session the other week in near Chalkwell Park, an elderly dementia care home there. And after we played Can't Help Falling in Love, the lady had sung the words to it. And some of the staff were like, we didn't know she spoke. She's been here 3 months. We didn't know she spoke. And I've just heard her voice for the first time. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is absolutely mad. What a visceral thing to have gone through, to witness that. Because once you've seen it and you know that the work you're doing can have that impact to other people, how can you then stop? This week on JobsWorth, the T.I.M.E team return. Do you remember the T.I.M.E team?
Yeah.
Because I keep calling you guys the T.I.M.E team, and I don't know if we're going to get pulled up on that. As obviously, as the podcast gets bigger, Tony Robinson and friends might come after us.
Yeah.
But do you remember the T.I.M.E team?
I do. I think we spent about 12 years trying to not call ourselves the T.I.M.E team. But yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stick with it because I don't want to ruin the flow and I can't rewrite the intro. Anyway, the T.I.M.E team return. We've got founders of music charity Together in Musical Expression, Mike and Marc, back in for round 2 to talk about what has been going on for the last, it's been around 18 months since we recorded the first episode.
That's crazy, isn't it?
So a lot of water has gone under the bridge.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the realities of running a charity. We are also going to talk about how you both feel about sharing an office with me, which has obviously been something else that's happened in the last 18 months, but we might make that a little later in the episode.
A lot of stories.
A lot of stories to share. I'm going to start with a bit of a reflective question, if that's okay, because I'm going to ask you what the Mike and Marc of 2024, that's when we recorded, would have to say about the position that T.I.M.E are in now. So if you can take yourself back to the tail end of 2024 when we were having that conversation last time, the growth and the development that you've had in that time. So Mike, take yourself back to that and what the changes have been. What would the Mike of back then thought about how the charity and the business has grown?
I think we'd be really proud looking at where we're at right now. I think we've come a long way in lots of different ways. We've hired people, which is pretty crazy. Starting out as just like 3 mates having a crack and just having a guess really of like how to run a business, how to run a charity. So to sort of expand that over the last 2 years, we brought on another music instructor who's done amazing, named David. We're bringing on a fundraising manager, which is a really, really exciting step for us. Got an office with you, which is really cool. And
which is the most exciting step, clearly.
Yeah, and it's funny because we always like, when we first started, I remember me and Marc after a couple of years were like, I can foresee ourselves, as much as we love doing the sessions, we want to carry on doing the sessions, I can foresee ourselves being like in an office one day and us spending the day doing admin and like funding applications and stuff. So the fact that we are there doing that now, as little as it seems, I think that's really cool. I love that.
Which is interesting because as musicians and creatives as well, could you know having that conversation in your head of like, one day I could see myself in an office doing admin.
Yeah, so,
it doesn't align.
But I don't know, when you run your own business and you get into the nitty gritty of it, and I don't know, you really care about the details and like, it sounds silly, but those admin-y stuff become like, I don't know, like the inner workings of your business, and you want to kind of oversee it and be a part of it.
It's another milestone as well, because we met, as we discussed in the first episode, we met in the space that we're recording in now. It looks very different when all the tables and everything are out, but we met in the hatch at a time where you didn't have an office. So to go into the kind of like, it's a space in a bigger office. So it's not your own bricks and mortar premises, and in the same way that I work too, but there's a bit more credibility when you've got your own space, and it's having a hub to sit down and work in.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's something, it feels like a big milestone to reach, to be able to say, oh, we've actually got somewhere to call home. Yeah. I can leave my chair and other bits and pieces at a desk, walk out, and I know it's going to be there, fingers crossed, the next day when I come back in.
Yeah,
So what about you, Marc? Are you able to reflect on that? I mean, it's been 18 months, which is crazy. It feels simultaneously not that long, but also like a hell of a lot longer since we had that initial chat. But how do you feel about what you've achieved in that time?
Yeah, I think the best thing about that question is it does make you reflect, and obviously it's crazy that amount of time has passed by. But I'm in line with what Mike says there. It's pride. At the end of the day, whenever you're doing something for yourself or most things in life, you want to see progress, don't you? So if you're looking back on something a year and a half down the line and you've pushed forward and you've developed, which we definitely have, that is something to feel proud of. And big thing for us was starting to let go of certain things and outsource and realise that there is other people out there that can have the same passion as us, and we haven't got to take it all on ourselves. And definitely when we look back over these last 18 months, that's a huge step.
Yeah, 100%.
So like you say, the people that we're taking on, fundraising manager now, extra staff, outsourcing certain elements, that's been huge for us.
Yeah. We talked a bit about delegation and outsourcing and kind of accepting that maybe either certain things aren't your strength or you don't enjoy doing them and putting them at someone else's feet, really, to pick it up and go, right, you run with that. That's really difficult when you're starting to build something from scratch because you wear all the hats. You've got all the control. It's even handing that over. It's actually sitting there and disseminating what you do day to day. And I was around the time we had the chat, not very far into my first hire, and I had to do that. I had to reverse engineer everything that was in my brain to be able to teach someone else to do what I was doing. And that's big and scary and time consuming. And it's been great to see. Like since that first episode, we've worked together a lot more closely. I've seen firsthand the effort and energy and the blood, sweat and tears that you put into running this charity and the business. And yeah, I feel very lucky and privileged to have got that kind of proximity to you to see just how much you give a shit and how much you care.
That's really kind. That's very good. But likewise, and like I would say to the camera that John very kindly and helpfully helped us out with the recruitment of our fundraiser manager, all for free, massively helped out the charity. So likewise, mate, it's been a pleasure to have you in the office and have all the help you've given us, running half marathons and recruiting and lots of just general like business advice. It's been so good to chat to you day to day, and you've inspired us, I think. Is
this why John got us back on?
It's basically, as my head gets bigger, this is it. The ego is being fed, and this is what it's all about. Yeah.
No, but it is surreal to be sitting here in that situation with yourself and know how much has been achieved in that time from that initial conversation in the hatch. We used to love working in for the background noise, and the staff member, we spoke about that on the last one, we met him here. And that's how he ended up being hired, basically. And now it's the same with yourself. You know, we built that relationship. It's great.
Well, one of the things, because we could go through the founder story again, but that's pretty much covered in episode 1. So I want to talk a bit more about the reality day to day of what it's been like continuing to build the charity as much as the business. And I think it's important because I went into that initial conversation we had with an element of ignorance. I didn't know that there was the charity and the limited company as elements of that. With the charity specifically, I, again, have seen firsthand the lengths that you guys have to go to and the effort and energy you invest to get funding and to find pots of money and to keep the momentum going on what you've built. And I wanted to ask how I guess what I admire is how you keep going in the face of what is rejection sometimes. Because it is. And that's an education for me, seeing the amount of bids and again, the effort and energy that goes into that to get to a point where you can feel so keenly how much energy you've put into something to then be told, no, you're not getting that pot of money. Like, how do you do it? Because I sit there and I feel that for you and I'm like, oh, it's like a barb to me and it's not my charity. Yeah. But how do you persevere? How do you keep pushing on when there is an element of rejection to overcome?
It is tough, yeah, because obviously, like you say, you pour your heart and soul into it, and when you've been doing it for over 10 years as well, getting rejected is tough. But I think, at least for me, I just absolutely love what we do. I love everything about it. I love spending time in the office with you guys. I love the fact that we've built our friends around the business, and everyone within the business is just lovely, and love spending time with them and working with them. And then on top of that, I just genuinely love the community of people we work with. And I have a huge sense of devotion to them and wanting to do best by them and provide like the best for people in the positions, people with disabilities, dementia. I want to make sure they have a really good life and they enjoy their Monday nights or their music sessions on a Friday, or just inject that joy into people's lives. And it's those sort of moments and those those things which keep us going. And I almost like can't imagine not doing it now. It's so like a part of my DNA, and it's where I found a huge amount of purpose as well. Like, again, not only helping these people, but being a part of the community that around work, around Mark and you and Rob and David, all these people. It gives me a huge sense of purpose and meaning. So even though it can be tough with those rejections, those things sort of pull you through, and it just Monday comes around again. Like, right, let's have another crack. Where's the next load of money going to come from?
It's the level of resilience though from both of you, because you have to be resilient to get that rejection. And hard points not to take it personally or to question at sometimes like, what are we doing? You have to have a huge amount of belief. And because you guys are on the front line doing these sessions and seeing the impact that it makes in the community with the people you're working with.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to top that answer from Mike, really. That was beautiful and came from the heart. But maybe it's like part of when you're a musician, the amount of times that you get rejection, whether you're sending something to a label or radio or whatever, it tends to be quite often, doesn't it, with creative outlets. And I think running your own business, running the charity, it's a similar thing. It's something you are so passionate about and so invested in. And it sounds like a bit of a cliche, but any of those rejections that we do get from a funder, for example, you just have to take the positives and go, well, I learned something from that process, and maybe we just need to get a bit more data, or maybe there's a better way that we can make people realise the benefits and the impacts that we see day to day. How can we learn from that and sell it even more and open people's eyes to it?
I think it's just as well, it's a slightly weird thing being in a charity, but because a lot of charities are all going for the same like pots of funding, I think at least you know that like if you haven't been funded, a lot of the answers we get a lot of the time is we've just had loads of projects, a lot of them have been really high priority, and we're working a lot within like poverty at the minute. It's hard to get too annoyed about like, oh, that's money going to, providing poverty relief for people. So it's like, okay, it's not so bad.
And it's like the buzzword at the moment, but like AI, we had a rejection recently, and one of the funders said we've had a 50% increase in the amount of applications. So even if they're not great and people have just thrown that into ChatGPT, answer all these questions, these 10 questions on a lottery bid or whatever, they still have to process it. They still have to work through it.
It's a great point. The volume goes up because the barrier to entry goes down, doesn't it? Because now AI can do these application processes en masse.
Yeah.
Is there something that frustrates you about the current kind of funding or support system? Because maybe that's one thing you've just identified, the fact that people can submit applications via AI and then the volume goes up and then it becomes, and I'm not in a position to say if this is the case, but it can feel like a bit of a lottery.
Yeah.
But is there anything else about the funding system and the way you have to submit applications that you find frustrating?
I think it requires a high level of like detail and the ability to be able to like write really well. And I think there's a lot of people out there that have amazing projects and really great charities, non-profits that maybe are incredible at what they do. They provide a huge support to their community, but they might not be able to write the most effective application. In some ways, I wish you could apply and someone will come down and take a look at what you do and talk to you in person and get an idea that way as to what you're about, as opposed to completely relying on a written application. I think there's so many things that get lost in the black and white of an application.
Does that not happen then?
I think it can happen, but it's a lot rarer these days.
Okay.
I think like you're saying, with the amount of applications that go in now, I think it used to be the case that, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it used to be more the case you'd have a relationship with a funder. But I think just to get your foot in the door, you have to do so many applications. You have to get a lot of money behind you already, and that's when doors start to open. But we're starting to see a little bit of that happening, but it is tough. It is tough.
Okay.
Yeah, again, that could be a volume thing, isn't it? The amount of people that are applying. I mean, I don't want to sort of single out or dig out any funders, but there is, we met one recently that was the flip side to that, and they met with us and we spoke online and they just learned more about us before we actually present the application, and the amount that we was able to get from that, because we could just have an actual conversation with someone who works for that organisation, gives that direct like feedback related to us specifically, rather than, it's great to have those key points, aims and objectives, stuff you've got to hit their criteria, but it can be quite broad, hard to align yourself with that definitively until you've had that conversation or until they come and see you in action.
Yeah, because it can feel so generic, can't it? And like you're basically just shouting into the void.
Yeah.
And I guess sometimes it's nice to get that individual specific feedback rather than being told you're not getting the money. Yeah. You want reasons beyond just, we've had some really high quality bids. Well, are you saying by definition that ours wasn't?
Yeah.
What is the individual feedback?
And we're a music charity, and you can't always upload an audio recording or send a YouTube link of a video that we've made or a songwriting project that we've done that would just totally
because again we talked about Peaceful Place and the project you did, and mine and Sophie's reaction to seeing that video. That's what connects with people. That's what resonates. And if you can't even provide that on at first pass, that's really tough. Music charity that has to put everything in a written bid. That's really
exactly.
hard.
Yeah, exactly. And you're just getting photo permissions at places is a nightmare. You know, working with vulnerable people to get their photo and video permissions, you have the most amazing moment. Maybe you'll catch it on camera and they'll be like, I haven't got photo permissions for them. And you're like, okay. But yeah.
Please. It would really help if we could do that.
Please sign this letter.
Tell me about the reality of balancing running the charity, running the business with your lives. So, Mike, I'm going to start with you. We touched upon this before. You work on your family farm.
Yeah.
You create content. You manage a charity. You run the sessions, so you're frontline as well. How do you do all of those things?
It is really tricky. It's like we always talk about it, actually, like trying to spin all the plates at once. I'm not sure I have a very good answer for that. With difficulty, I think there's always going to be something that drops. Sort of got a bit of notoriety on YouTube for a while, but then again, like we said about earlier, I'm so passionate about the stuff with time. It's very hard for that not to take up most of my time. So things like that sort of fall to the wayside. But it's tricky. I'm outsourcing. I know we spoke about it earlier, and it's a really boring corporate term. But Tom edited a video for me the other day. Saved me like a week of work. It's a massive, massive help.
Yeah. Because is it as much about the mental space that doing all of these things takes up? And they're very different gears to switch into.
Yeah.
You came into the office today and said to me, we had the agronomist turn up, and I was chatting to him, and I was like, you've gone from speaking to an agronomist. I still don't know what it means, by the way. You've had that conversation on your family farm to come into Gas, to sit in an office to talk about something completely different, or edit some videos, or have some conversations and a meeting about the charity. That's a huge lane switch.
It's really weird. When every time anyone asks me, like, what do you do? I always really struggle to answer that in a coherent way.
Well, how do you label? I'm going to ask you, how do you label yourself?
I literally couldn't answer that. Like, charity director, farmer, content.
What an interesting job title, though. Try and put you on LinkedIn. I mean, that would be the longest job title in the world.
Yeah, what do I put on my LinkedIn? I don't know.
But I think that's something to be proud of. I think those multifaceted ways that we can go through the world and make our career, like a squiggly career, some people would call it, and have these different things that we do to make up how we make money.
Yeah.
I think that's nice. But
I think there's just so many fun things to do, though. I think that's why I'm in this sort of mess that I'm in. It's just like...
Is that how you define it?
Yeah, it's just for me. Yeah, it's just it's just loads of fun things to do in it. Music's really fun, like running a business with your mates is fun. Grew up on a family farm and love doing that. And it's just, it's hard to pull yourself away from those things. That's the most difficult thing, is what you say no to and what you turn down.
Yeah,
that's the bit
really
I struggle with the most.
Because again, we can get caught in this trap like we did in the first episode that we recorded, where we keep saying time, and I go, no, time, right? But again, time is a commodity. How you invest that and how you give that, especially as a charity, and then people understand you're a charity. But weirdly, it's not. They don't always connect. We should be supporting you, but can you give some more of your time up to come and do stuff, because you're a charity? So obviously, altruism is at the heart of what you do. But then you're like, no, I need to make a living. We need to support the initiatives that we're doing. So I just wonder sometimes, how you can switch between all of these different things. Yes. But it doesn't seem like you'd have it any other way.
No, I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. As much as it's stressful at times, I think it is fun to balance things and always learn. I always like learning new things as well. So I think learning how to use a camera or trying new things is always fun. So it's good.
It's a balance, right? Marc, you've got 2 young kids. you do so much in terms of the content, and I know it's a big push for you again to be doing more courses, and both of you do courses on Udemy and Skillshare as well. Again, how do you find the time to do all this stuff whilst running the charity, whilst getting out to sessions, whilst being a present partner, present dad?
Yeah.
The therapy session starts for you now.
There we go, yeah. A very understanding wife, very supportive team that I work with. And I think that's the hardest thing, making sure you're present in each of the things that you're doing, particularly the family. That's the thing. If I ever feel like I've overloaded myself with work and I am with my kids and I'm thinking about work, that's when I'll really have to focus on suppressing that, because like you, I can't imagine living a life where I don't have a multitude of things going on and thinking of what the next projects will be and trying to learn new things. But if that impacts on the thing I also desperately want, which is a family, and that sort of stable relationship, then you have to be very mindful of that. So I don't know if I've directly answered how I do it, but I think I'm all right at it. I feel like even though it is like an overload at times, and the amount you have to think about, I think I'd be worse if I didn't have that sort of stuff going on. If I didn't feel like I was sort of pushing myself and investing in things that I want to try and achieve, and like you say, help the people that we support and work with, and develop the charity, develop the business, reach new people, make sure more people are accessing music, and then thinking about those little creative side projects, having a musical outlet. I just don't think I'd be content if I didn't have that going on.
Yeah.
So it needs to be there.
Yeah,
somewhere,
that
everywhere.
completely answers the question. I think, and let's be honest, there's no right or wrong. There's no way you can answer that question that is like, oh, I've completed that question.
Right, yeah.
I've answered that optimally. That's because it's completely based on your own lived personal experience. But it doesn't seem, again, even through the adversity and the challenges that you face, and that feeling sometimes of meeting rejection or a little bit of self-doubt and feeling like, oh, are we doing the right thing? Is there what I derive and take from being around you guys is that you are working for this sense of purpose and meaning, and that is what's driving you. And maybe that's what helps with your resilience, is that you know that you're doing something that's really powerful beyond impacting your own lives. You're impacting all of these people that come into contact with your services, which I think is super special.
It's really, really lucky to be in that position where we are on the front line of working with people directly, and like you say, having that big sense of belonging and giving people, like really helping people. But I think sometimes it's easy to say, oh, we're doing a really nice thing because we're on the front line. But I do think, I don't know, I often hear people like our accountant would be like, oh yeah, well, I'm just an accountant, and I don't do what you do, and I don't have the same level of, I don't know, I don't give as much as you do. But I think sometimes people misalign their jobs and the sort of meaning around it. Like, if we didn't have our accountant, we would not be able to run the charity. If it wasn't for you helping us with your LinkedIn magic, we wouldn't be able to hire a fundraiser. Like, we're all in this is why I talk about community all the time. Like, it's so important that we all like work together and we benefit each other, because it has a much wider effect. We are on the front line, yes, but we wouldn't be able to do any of it without the network that surrounds us.
I do think it's important for you both to acknowledge, though, that you both and Rob and the team that you've built, it's something about the energy that you're putting out into the world that make people want to do stuff with you and support you and collaborate with what you're doing. That's why I do it. I think that's why I introduced myself when I heard you talking about hiring David, which is what we were talking about on the first episode. We were talking about you having just literally hired David into that role. And I think you just give something off that shows you two genuinely care and have that genuine passion. So you can say that we're all part of this kind of big community of things, but you guys are the catalyst for that. So just acknowledge that. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to nod. You don't even have to smile. Just acknowledge that there is something super special about what you guys have all built. And sometimes I feel unfair because I don't have the relationship with Rob because he's not in the office all the time. But all of you have built that, and it's super
twice you've had us on and you haven't invited Rob. I mean,
unbelievable. He'll be listening now.
This is where we will use AI. To superimpose Rob just into the middle, and he can just nod.
No, without sounding too cheesy, that music for us comes from a place of passion, and we say this a lot to the people we go and deliver the sessions with. it's wonderful for us as well. We gain a lot of therapy from those sessions and seeing the impact that it has on people. And we want passionately for as many people to access that and feel that as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's I feel like it's sometimes like understated the impact of music within these kind of sectors. Like, oh yeah, do a nice music session or a nice sing along. But yeah, it's. I wish I could translate how profound some of these moments are. Like, I use dementia as an example. I can't remember if we've spoken about this on the first episode, but like, there will be people that we work with on a daily basis who are in their 90s, late stage dementia, who don't recognise themselves, don't recognise their families, will go in and they'll be incredibly distressed, and will often hate us, seeing us there, because we're even more strangers than the staff or whatever. Get shouted at, people throw stuff at us. But the minute you start playing a song, or the second or the third, the whole body language, the whole emotional state completely changes, and it's fascinating what is happening. Bit of a science lesson here now. So the dementia, one of the last parts of the brain that dementia affects is the medial prefrontal cortex. And that is the same part of the brain where lots of emotional memories are stored, and also things like music and anything like emotional or like old memories is stored there. And it's more the kind of like day-to-day things that people forget. So sort of like the name of their carer or where they are, what they've done that morning, what they've had for breakfast. But all those old emotional memories are still kept like perfectly intact. And by using music, playing an old song, getting them to sing, getting them to shake along, it taps straight into that part of the brain which hasn't had dementia affect it yet. And the emotional change you can trigger by doing that is absolutely profound. Like I said, witnessing someone going from being incredibly distressed to dancing around with glee, often crying. We'll have people that say, oh, my mum hasn't sung in 10 years, don't bother putting a microphone next to her. After 2 or 3 songs, you put a microphone next to her and she'll sing every word of a song. Like, that is such a profound thing, and we witness it every single day. If you could sell that in a pill, if I could say, like, if your nan's got dementia, we can give you a pill and she'll be really happy, we'll have no side effects, we'll be able to tap into this emotional state in her brain and give her this really positive boost for the day, then they'd be taking it, they'd be giving it to every single dementia
the pharma companies would be making billions, wouldn't they?
Exactly,
billions more.
And I think, it's those sort of things which, like, I think get us up in the morning and say, like, this is why after 10 rejected bids, we're like, we want to go again, because it has such a profound effect. And that's just talking about dementia.
Those untapped moments are everywhere, aren't they? And I mean, we literally was at a session the other week in near Chalkwell Park, an elderly dementia care home there, and after we played Can't Help Falling in Love, the lady had sung the words to it, and some of the staff were like, we didn't know she spoke. She's been here 3 months. We didn't know she spoke. And they've just heard her voice for the first time. It's incredible, isn't it?
That is absolutely mad. What a visceral thing to have gone through, to witness that. Because once you've seen it and you know that the work you're doing can have that impact to other people, how can you then stop?
Exactly.
You've got that. You've got that superpower to go and take that to more people, to give them that connection again. I think that's so special. I'm not going to sit here all day and blow smoke up your ass. But yeah,
I was enjoying.
There you go. I'm feeding back to you now. But it's just, it is. I think it is so powerful what you're putting out into the world. I do want to ground this in the reality again, because some of the things you've done in the last 18 months are big steps for a small charity. So how big a step is taking on a space like an office?
Yeah, it is a big step.
Both as a milestone. I don't necessarily mean financially, but I just think getting to a point where you're now saying, okay, we don't need to. I mean, it's also nice to bum around in coffee shops, right?
But
now we've got a hub. Now we've got a base. We've got somewhere where this new hire can actually come and sit and be with us. Like, how big a step is that? Is it scary?
I think it feels really exciting. I think we love it. I think like you say, it was a long time we were sort of just jumping from coffee shop to coffee shop, and it just feels like much more grown up and professional. And I think when you start your own business, you don't straight away go like, well, I'm going to rent an office. after a week of it. So the fact that after like 10 years of running it, we're like, no, we're actually going to need an office now and put that down and sort it. It feels like a big milestone. May seem small to a lot of people, but yeah, it feels like a big deal for us. It feels like much more like official. And like you say, it's somewhere we can ask people to come and have an actual meeting, or we can actually say like, right, 9 to 5 on Wednesday, we've just got to do this funding application, as opposed to like talking about, I don't know, these quite like sensitive information in a coffee shop where we have to be really careful like what we're saying, and I don't know, people that are around. So it feels a lot more professional now, definitely.
Yeah, and there's good coffee there as well, isn't there? So
There's good coffee there.
A little thin.
Yeah, one of the reasons we actually went there, because we're like, we'll save money on coffee because we'll just bring in our own. And now they've got a little
And
thing
I remember
there.
having the conversation with Greg to say, you need a coffee machine in here.
Yeah.
You did
now,
this.
obviously, this is a downfall. Yeah, it's hitting the pocket hard. But yeah, I think, not everyone sets out needing an office. You didn't need an office at the start either, but to have a base of operations as you continue to grow feels big. Does it feel, and also in tandem with hiring now, your most senior hire externally to date? Like I said, a fundraising and partnerships manager is a big deal for a growing charity, and it's a real commitment to go, okay, let's see what the next few years has got to offer. We're going to take this really seriously and build from here. Does it in a way kind of trigger any imposter syndrome as well? Do you sit there now and go, oh, this is serious? No, it's not just David, there's more people.
Yeah, totally. Because like we've said, you're free mates at the beginning of it. So you can, you make mistakes, don't you, in any sort of aspect of life, and that's how you learn from things. But it definitely feels like there's more pressure now, that imposter syndrome. You have to battle that voice in your head. But I also think you can flip that and go, well, if I feel a bit uncomfortable, that means we're pushing ourselves, and we're not just sitting still. Because if you sit still too long, then you're going to end up going backwards and not progress. So the fact that we do feel a bit out of our depth, and it is another level, that's a good thing. So we've got to turn that into a positive. But that ties in perfectly to why we have an office. We've done it in stepping stones. It wasn't like we were just going to suddenly be 10 years progress dropped on top of us. We're only at this point now because we've kept chipping away at it and learnt so much. So we have to remind ourselves of that. But yeah, you can't deny that you feel a bit like, it's a big step, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's a weight and a responsibility, both of having, additional outlay, which any business owner has. Any big decision, you're like, I've committed to this. I'm going to need to pay for it now.
Yeah.
But then also the responsibility of hiring people, because you're paying, again, I don't want to panic you, but you're paying other people's mortgages, and you're paying their bills, and you're doing all these things. So there's the mission that you're on, and then there's the day-to-day of now there needs to be money there.
Yeah, which is essential for where we want to be. Like I said, when we start a business, you don't necessarily think of all that. You're just like, this is really exciting. We want to get out and get in the community and start benefiting people. But then you're like, oh yeah, there's admin, isn't there? There's a lot of admin that comes with this. And like you say, the pressure and the responsibilities, but it all ties into each other.
Yeah, and I think the scary things are like imperative to growth as well. We've our trustee, Colin, who's like a bit of a mentor to us, and he's been an incredible, sort of figurehead at the charity. And he always says, like, sometimes you just got to jump off a bridge. And I think it's what he said that when he about hiring this fundraiser manager, he was like, I just got to jump off a bridge. It might not work.
Yeah.
But you just got to do it.
Yeah.
Take that.
And it's so true. And it feels like in lots of little ways we've done that step by step, even just like leaving our regular jobs. That felt like, right, we're just jumping off a bridge here. But you got to do them sometimes. And it won't always work. But like you say, you sort of like learn and you grow from them. And that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's a mindset thing. If you can go into it knowing, and you've got to have a positive outlook, right? You can't say, "Oh, this will fuck up." You can't go into it in that mindset. But just knowing, actually, don't let the fear of failure stop you.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think of the exact corny quote that I can say. But what is it? It's something about everything that you could want in life is the other side of fear. It's not exactly that. That's going to be shit on a t-shirt, isn't it? But you know that kind of thing. Like, you have to do scary things to make to get where you want to go.
Yeah, I think
this is your scary thing, right?
Getting comfortable with it. You're paying a mortgage. You're feeding our kids. You better make it
responsibility
work.
now.
Decision. Yeah, making me panic now.
What do you hope bringing a fundraising and partnerships manager will do for T.I.M.E? Sounds like an obvious question. Maybe the clue's in the job title. But what do you envision this this higher meaning to the business now?
I think, yeah, just state the obvious, but bring in more funds. But I think, like you're saying earlier, with charities where you have to rely on fundraising and applications and bid writing and things like that, a lot can ride on that. And I think having the humility to be like, we're maybe not the best at that. We're really, really good at doing the music sessions. I think we're really good at running the business, but we may not be the absolute best at fundraising, fundraising and bid writing specifically. So I think having the humility to be like, okay, that's a really important thing that we're not like the best at. Let's get someone in who is really, really good at that. We'll carry on doing the bits that we're really confident with and we know we can do really well. And someone else can fill in the gaps that we may be missing. And then through that, hopefully we grow and there's a lot of expansion made because of that new person. And hopefully that risk pays off. And we're sitting here in a year from now and we've got 200 grand from some wealthy fund somewhere.
No, well, I think you become a bottleneck, don't you? And a barrier yourself. You're kind of building your own wall, but by just keeping that remit under your kind of purview, you need to at some point admit, okay, maybe it's not anything to do with ability, it's just the time. How can you invest the time required to do these bids to the best of your ability when you've got so many other hats to wear? So bringing in a specialist to do something like that, I can only see that going one way. You also said, Mike, I watched your video today and we've had conversations about this. I did write this down. When you say you're not good at fundraising, or maybe that's not a strength, in your video, and I can't quote it, but it was something along the lines of, we're really bad for asking for money. And then you stated about the monthly donations that T.I.M.E receive. Again, recurring monthly donations is £15 per month as things stand at the moment. And I wanted to say that on here because I think it's so important when we're talking about the impact that what you do makes, and we know that you survive on fundraising and donations, and currently there's £15 a month recurring, and I think you mentioned that's from Rob's mum.
Half of it I think is from Rob's mum.
And I want to say that as a rallying cry, and I don't mind saying this and putting a stake in the ground, that obviously needs to be higher, deserves to be higher. So whether you're bad at asking for money, I can do it, and shamelessly so. Cool. But it's just really interesting. The reality is that maybe from the outside looking in, people going, oh, they must have supporters, they must have this, that, and the other. The reality is you are doing something so valuable, and that at the moment is the recurring monthly donations. So there's a way to go, clearly, but I think it's important for people to hear that and not just to think they're fine. Because, donations on top of that are going to make a huge difference.
Oh, yeah, 100%, yeah. And the word thing I did say in that video that we're trying to get to £50 a month, which is probably quite a low target in some ways, but I want it to be...
Well, it's more than 15.
Exactly, it's something. I'd rather I'd rather be impressed than disappointed. But
I mean, it probably sounds ridiculous, but that sort of stuff does get pushed further down the list, which sounds mental, doesn't it? When you're obviously highlighting how we're a charity and we rely on funds and donations and successful bids. But when you are running the day-to-day and you're trying to deliver the best projects and you're covering the core costs and the admin, to then go, okay, we need to sit down, change gears, fill out this funding application, think of a really good fundraising campaign, film some content that might get people really engaged, edit that video. Have we got the cost to edit that video? If we haven't got the time, can we outsource that? Okay, we need more money for that. We haven't spent enough time raising the profile to bring in more money. It's like fundraising and partnership manager who comes in recognising that someone has more expertise and time and focus for us than that is hopefully going to put us on that right track for more people to realise, more creative campaigns, and hopefully more funds to keep it going.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we worked out the other day and we're actually surprised ourselves that we on average run 66 music sessions a month. So just like the admin that goes into that, and like you say, us, because we deliver a lot of the music sessions still ourselves. So just the admin and the time that goes into that is a lot. While you're juggling a farm and a Skillshare account and these things. So it's one of those things. But it is a bit of I think not just about ourselves. I do think a bit of like you said, a rallying cry for people in general. I think it's very, very common for people to have subscriptions they forgot about. I've subscribed to Canva Premium for the last year for £12 a month and I completely forgot about it. Just something like that. but I don't know if you can switch something over to a charity, and not saying it has to be time, but just a local charity to you or someone in your community that is doing something good. There are so many of us trying to think about, but this is what I mean. I feel awkward saying this because like people are going through such a hard time financially. I don't like asking for things like that, but it makes such a huge difference. Like genuinely, like just £5 a month, like enough people say yes to that. I know it sounds cliche, but that's literally a cup of coffee. Do you know what I mean?
You don't have to caveat all of that. Again, I can say it. You described it in your videos saying, I don't want to be seen as going cap in hand to people. Yeah. People can make that judgment themselves. All you're doing is signposting, we are a charity that is deserving of funds. If you're in a position to donate, then do. What's wrong with that?
No, you're so right.
You should be able to shamelessly say that.
This is what I mean, though. Like, we're bad at it. I'm not very good at asking for.
But that to me, I find endearing. No. Right, I find it endearing.
That's exactly what I wanted you to think.
Exactly. I've sucked you in there, haven't I? Yeah, but I find that an endearing quality, and I know it's one that both of you feel. But you need, again, if there's anything that I hope I've done for you since being at office, sometimes I hear you speak, and I'm like, just ask the question. You just need to start banging the drum. You are so deserving of more, and what you do is so deserving of more. It's okay to say that. People, if someone's listening and they feel like I'm not in a position to do it, that's okay. And they're completely within their rights. They know how much money they've got. Yeah. It's just half the time it's signposting, we're here, we look for donations, we survive, and we can do more and make more impact with money coming in.
I think as we're having this conversation, I think the art is in dissociating between like people giving us money and instead thinking about the end product of the people we work with and thinking about them, like people raising money for them, as opposed to our charity, like trying to break those two apart.
I think that's why the big focus when we do create content, and Mike takes a huge lead on that, he's amazing at it, it is to highlight what your money does, the impact that it has. That's what it's all about for us, because hopefully it can be more of a tangible thing you can see directly. If it is that £5 a month, that puts some new strings on a guitar to go and deliver a session, or buys a few egg shakers, inclusive, accessible instruments that are used every day, every week in all the different care homes and schools that we go to. Every penny. I know, again, that sounds like one of those cliches, but it really does make a difference.
It's okay. And it is, as you say that, there's like, it's such a line that's been used over the time, but what, it's true.
It's true,
Like, it's there, and it's been around for ever, because it's so true. It really does make a difference if you're in a position to do it. And again, people are able to make that decision themselves.
And if you raise funds, we might make a little video for you as well.
Look, I did want to say, there was 2 points I wanted to make around this. What I love about the content you create as T.I.M.E is that there is, I would imagine there is a decision you could make when you are making content, and I'm talking specifically about the Involve nightclub that you guys run, and we'll go on to say some updated news about that as well in a second. There's a decision you make where you could portray the people that go to Involve in a different way than you do. What I love is that you humanize these people and show the characters and connection and humour and I watched that video. It's not because I'm in it. I'm not that egotistical, but I watched that video of what you did, the montage saying thank you for me running this half marathon.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious, first off.
Yeah.
And you just connect with these people in a different way. And I made this point, again, when we spoke before, everyone has a perception of what people with learning difficulties or different needs may have. And you break that stigma down. You're breaking that barrier, kind of lifting the veil to say they're just like us.
Yeah.
And that's okay to do that.
Yeah, 100%. That's very kind of you to say. And we're always very mindful of how people are portrayed in anything we do post. But like you're saying there, the individuals that we work with and those that involve are just honestly like some of the most wonderful characters I've ever met in my entire life.
Charismatic, just funny, kind, loving.
So lovely, so funny, and just like honestly, and maybe it's like the most professional thing to say, but they're like my best friends. Like there's people that come to that club night that I've seen more than most members of my family.
Yeah.
Like we're there every week together, every Monday for the last, Involve's going to be 10 years old this year. There's people that have come for almost every single night for 10 years. And talk about West Ham. We talk about the football that's been on that week.
Relationships.
And
boyfriends, girlfriends. What's going on in their lives?
Exactly. Yeah.
Breakups, the drama,
and just some of the things they say, and it bounces between being like so insightful and beautiful and such a unique spin on things, to then just saying like the most hilarious thing I've ever heard. And it's just those involved interviews are about just trying to show exactly that, like show these people for exactly who they are.
It's the humanity and connecting on a human level. And I think, again, the decision you could make is that you could basically paint a picture of making people feel sorry for them or pity them. And that's not what you do. You allow people to say, it's just that connection.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You're opening a door on that.
Yeah.
But I think that can be a tricky line to get right and to balance it in the right way. I'm sure that's a consideration when you do it. But I personally think that you're lifting the kind of lid on it. It's just connecting on a human level, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's the space for that person to just be themselves. It's the person, it's the personality. It's not the tag of any sort of disability.
I think part of the reason we do it as well is because how often do you hear the voices of people within the SEN community? How often do you go past a reel when you're on social media? Like, how often do you hear the opinions of someone? We did a video about Donald Trump, about when he came into office, and we asked the guys about it then. Like how often do you hear the opinions of people within the SEN community about these things?
When we talk about representation,
absolutely,
they're not being represented. For sure.
Yeah, exactly. And if they do something that's funny, then that's a part of who they are. That is life, And in so many facets of life, we are disconnected from people, either within the SN community or people that are generally different from us. We have special schools and we have mainstream schools, and a lot of people will go their whole lives without talking to someone within the SEN community, or someone with Down syndrome, someone with autism, And it's important that we get used to having these conversations and hearing from these communities, because they are a part of our community. We shouldn't be shutting them away, saying, "Oh, you can't be on a video, you can't be interviewed." We want to elevate those voices,
Mark, I asked both of you. I met your answer. I've clung on to from listening back to the episode over the course of this week.
Right.
I asked you where you'd like to see T.I.M E in 5 years' time. Oh my God, I've gone down Noah and the Whale.
You can't avoid
But yeah, where you'd like to see the charity, what you want to achieve in 5 years' time. We're only 18 months down the line, so we're yet to get to the point that we kind of committed to. But your answer was to make people aware of the benefits of music and the purpose of the charity. Do you feel like you are closer to having achieved that goal?
I think we've made more people aware of the charity and more people aware of the benefits and accessing the benefits. But if you was to ask me that question afresh today, it'd probably be the same answer, because in 5 years' time, you want to keep doing that.
Yeah.
You want to keep making more people aware of it, because there are people out there that aren't getting to access it. There's those untapped moments, like we said, within dementia settings, elderly dementia care homes, that aren't getting noticed and that aren't being given those opportunities. And that will just carry on. So hopefully that's a drive for us to just carry on.
And what do you need? What help could you have, or what do you need to be able to deliver on that in 3 years' time? So I'm not saying it's a finite goal. There's no end line to be able to keep pushing the purpose of the charity and make people aware of the benefits of music. I get that. But what do you need as a charity to keep delivering on that goal?
Long-term support, secured funding, continue to raise that profile, which costs more money, but then so you need more money to be able to do that. And I think if we can get more creative with the way that not how we deliver the sessions, but how we promote the sessions, I think that ties nicely into having that fundraising and partnership manager. Then we can really make people realise the benefits of it.
Yeah, I think partnering with more people as well. I think sometimes people might see what we do or hear about us and think like, "Oh, that's nice." But I feel like there's so many ways people can support or get involved and make a huge difference to people in their community with a few simple things. Like the amount of businesses that So for example, you go into like McDonald's, and when you order, you have an option to round up. It costs McDonald's nothing to do that. It's all on the onus of the buyer. But there's nothing stopping local businesses saying, right, let's do that, but let's make sure it's for a local charity. Or let's, for example, say like at a pub or a place like the Hatch. No, don't have to listen to this, Ralph. Like having, say, like a drink that is like a charity beer or something, where
understood.
10% of the proceeds of that go to a charity. Even if you make that beer like a little bit more expensive, it doesn't have to cost like a business anything, and you're supporting your community just by implementing those really simple things that, like I said, can be free. And also, what's crazy, I found about this a while ago, is it actually drives sales for businesses if they are seen to be helping charities, non-profits. Their sales boost because people feel more inclined to buy their things. So it's literally a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, it's
so,
mutually beneficial.
Totally, yeah. So trying to make those more connections, make people more aware of those kind of partnerships that can be developed. If there's any businesses watching that you want to link up with a really cool charity,
it's exactly like you're saying. It's connections. There is that. Is it CSR, the corporate social responsibility? And we know of companies that will do that. They'll donate a portion of their profits to support a good cause, to support a charity. Local music festivals, things that align really well with what we do. Artists that may be able to kind of share and attach themselves to the message that was so important to them in the first place for getting into music. We're trying to tap into a bit of that online. It seems natural that there should be some patrons or ambassadors out there that are involved in the music industry that we see for much bigger charities, because they know what music's done for their life and they want other people to have that opportunity. So if there's anyone from instrument companies to music stores to music festivals that think, well, that would be a really well sort of suited charity to align ourselves with, that would be a massive help.
Brilliant. I'm going to stick a stake in the ground now and talk about the sound bar.
Sound beam.
I'm going to stick a stake in the ground and talk about the sound beam, because we've talked about this a load of time, and I think having that instrument, that ability to again lower the back, make music accessible, which is the whole mission you're on. Something like the sound beam. I'm going to say it right if we're going to pitch it. An addition like that to the arsenal of instruments that you're taking to these music sessions is such a hugely important thing. So I'm going to, as part of this, I'm going to put a link in the episode description to a sound beam and just see what happens.
Right.
Because I think I just want it out there that T.I.M.E would benefit from a sound beam, and by extension, everyone that uses their service would also benefit from one. And we will see what happens. Well, let's put it out into the world and see what we can do.
Fingers crossed,
But I think it's super important. And I almost feel like it's hard because I know, to a degree, some of these questions put you on the spot and almost ask you to try and articulate something that maybe you'd want a bit more thought to come up with an answer to. But I think it's really important for me to ask now, because I want you to feel comfortable with asking something that's completely fair and deserving to be asked. So thank you for putting up the question, because I know it's not always the most comfortable thing, but I wanted to just push you out of your comfort zone slightly to say it.
No, thanks for that question.
You both articulate your answers amazingly anyway, but I just wanted to give you that opportunity to say what you need, because so many times like you're sheepish. Again, we are sheepish about saying, what do I need to help achieve the goal that I want to achieve?
Well, thanks for giving the opportunity to talk about that, because it is good for us to lean more into that. And just to sort of summarise what the sound beam is, because I think your mum asked the question, didn't she, about an interesting instrument.
What is the strangest or most interesting instrument?
And that's what got us talking about.
Lisa will love that.
Yeah, cool. I remember answering that. So, and for anyone who hasn't heard that, when you talk about accessibility, that is it in a nutshell. It was originally meant for dancers. It's like a microphone that projects invisible beams, so people would be dancing around the stage and crossing over it. It became a bit of a mishmash and a mess, hard to control. It found its way into sort of SEN environments. So someone with the most limited movement, if they could just move their index finger, you can cram a massive mix of notes, an array of sounds into that small beam, and suddenly that person is able to participate in a musical setting. You could put a different scale in there. You could put a car screeching, a dog barking, a violin, whatever it is, you load those sounds in and that person can contribute and trigger. Wonderful. So inclusivity, accessibility, what an amazing instrument. It's about $3,500. So if anyone's got,
if anyone's got $3,500.
Well, look,
sitting
you've
around.
got to put these things out into the world and see what happens. So I'm
Cool.
glad we've got an opportunity to do it.
thanks, mate.
What are you most proud of so far?
Oh, that's a big question.
Sorry, go on.
No, you go for it.
In terms of the charity, you don't need to talk about your kids.
It's a
We all
safe
know.
space.
We all know you've got to say your kids.
Wedding
No, but
day.
the day my children were born. No, I mean, when it comes to the charity and what you guys have achieved, what are you most proud of?
The fact that we've managed to sustain it, and maybe that kind of ties into us not being the best at asking for funds. The fact that we are here, the fact that we've managed to get to a position where we can hire other people, sustain a club night, operate 66 sessions a month. I don't know if that's too broad an answer, but I'm proud of the fact that I can wake up and go to our office and continue that work.
Yeah.
And even though we feel sort of overloaded at times, I never feel like we're drowning in it. I never feel like we're going backwards. I only feel overwhelmed because it's like we're pushing forward.
Yeah.
So I think,
Yeah,
I'm proud that we've managed to get to this point.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. And I think just to add to that, I think the fact that we started out the charity doing a 1 hour or 2 hour drop in every fortnight to now every single day of the week running multiple music sessions around Essex. Every day of the week, yeah. Monday to Sunday, there's something going on, time related, and someone's benefiting from the work that we are doing. That makes me really proud. And like I spoke about those moments earlier, those profound moments that, change people's days, weeks, months, years. The fact that we're having those impact, that kind of impact on that scale is amazing. But as I'm saying it, I'm just like, I want to do more. I want to go to bring that to Kent, and I want to make sure. And then that's the ultimate goal, is just trying to bring that to more and more people, ensure that more people have access to this like beautiful thing. Everyone has access to music, no matter like where you are, where you're from, if you're disabled or non-disabled. The fact's we want to make music accessible to those people, and feel like that it's wide open to them as well, not just like not restricted in this small. I can only play this instrument. I want to blow it open and make sure everyone can be involved with it, and everyone can feel like they have a place to belong in those sort of environments as well. Talk about involve in the club night, being able to look around a room every week and say like, there's a room full of people that feel like they belong here. Giving people spaces like that makes me very proud.
Yeah, man.
That's lovely. When we last spoke, you just secured funding for a year for Involve.
Right, yeah.
So I know recently there was a spell where that funding ended, and there was, fortunately, as we're going to share, not long before you received funding again. So congratulations, guys, because I know it was a very short spell, wasn't it, where that funding didn't necessarily cover Involve for, what are we talking? How long was that? A few weeks?
Like 6 weeks?
6 weeks? Yeah, because obviously you've now secured another pot of funding to fund Involve for how long now?
18 months.
18 months,
Yeah.
which is just incredible.
Yeah.
So that's a win.
Yeah,
Again,
massive win,
sharing that in the office after a few, again, me being privy to a few rejections and not quite getting over the line for funding, and then to learn that you guys have got that, I just think that's so important, especially now having seen the impact that it makes. So.
It's huge, because that was a big worry. We've seen the difference. When we talk about collecting data and providing that to funders, we had such overwhelming data that showed the difference free entry inclusive club night made to the disabled community.
Yeah, massive.
And not only to the kind of social inclusion that was happening, the confidence and self-esteem that was building, but even the benefit to the local economy. The people that are attending our club now are like, we're going to the cinema afterwards, or we went for a meal beforehand, or well, I've made new friends here and we're all going to go out for a meal on Saturday, or we're going to this other club because of that. There's this whole knock-on effects of it. But for so many funders, that data just didn't seem to knock the door down.
Yeah.
So when that came in, and we've now got 18 months. I mean, the reality of a charity is we're already talking about, so what do we need to get after those 18 months? Who should we be applying to now to make sure we can do it for 2 years?
Because it goes quick, as we say. Like, it's been 18 months since we had our first sit down, and you think, Christ, like that will fly. But what a great, celebrate the win. What a great, great
Enjoy
moment to have. But
Yeah.
you do. I guess you can't help but think, mid to long term, we now need to get the next batch of funding coming through.
I think that's part and parcel of being a charity, though. You sort of do survive from like, pot to pot, and just hope and pray you get the next one. I mean, we've always got the option of having to charge for these things, but it sort of links into our wider mission, like we were speaking about earlier, of making music accessible and these spaces completely accessible to everyone. We want that to be free. We don't want you to not be involved in a place where you belong, or have this beautiful moment with your friends because you can't afford it. Like, we just never want that to be the case. So we always strive to make these things free whenever we can. Obviously, it's not always possible, but that is our long-term goal. And if anyone wants to fund us for everything we do, so make everything free, that would be
just
amazing.
really take the pressure off.
That really.
Can you put a link for that as well?
Yeah. I'm going to put you on the spot now, and we can cut this bit if you don't want to do it. But I am going to ask you, because why not? You just don't know who's going to see this shit later down the line. So is there someone out there that you would love to get on board to support the charity? And if there is, do you want to send them a message?
Show the camera.
Denise Van Houten. I think Denise Van Houten has DJ'd down here.
Comes up daily.
She's DJ'd Old Lee. She's been.
Is she?
Yeah, she's
There you
DJ'd
go.
Old Lee before. Yeah.
Denise Van Houten. Yeah.
Denise Van Houten.
Earliest
Come help
memories,
out.
Big Breakfast. I remember it well. Denise Van Houten.
Stacey Solomon, we work with your nan. We do music sessions with her once a month, I believe.
Yep.
So if you want to help out with the charity, come on board.
Get involved, Stacey.
Who else is there? Sam Ryder. You don't live too far away. If you want to come down to the club night, do a performance one time, that'd be great.
Short trip.
Short trip. Yeah.
Short trip.
20 minutes away.
Convenient.
Yeah.
Convenient.
Local musicians that are from Essex. I mean, Blur, they were Essex based, weren't they? If they want to get involved at any point, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
Scroobius Pip, there we go, runs a big podcast, not to create a bit of rivalry. But,
That's okay.
Yeah.
There's room. Again, we'll tag everyone that you've just mentioned.
Yeah. Adam Buxton.
Adam Buxton.
Adam Buxton. Huge fan of Adam Buxton. And Adam Buxton always calls out St Mungo's in a really positive way when he's talking about charities to support or organisations to support. And our chair of trustees runs a couple of homeless support schemes for St Mungo's. So there's a positive link.
Synergy. I love it. Brilliant. So Adam Buxton, I think Adam Buxton's locked in.
Yeah? Cool. Done.
Well done, guys.
Nice.
That was great. You're so good at that.
Thanks.
Brilliant. Do you want to play a game?
Yeah,
Yes.
man.
Okay.
I'm intrigued what this game's going to be.
I mean, I wish I'd had more things to say, because basically I haven't got a name either, which I feel like this would have been a really easy one. The games are sometimes shit. This is either going to work or it's not. I'm happy for you to keep that in. But what's on offer is a prize. You're going head to head.
Sick.
So this is the JobsWorth mug. There you
Yeah,
go.
let's get a jingle on the
So
go.
JobsWorth mug is up for grabs.
So I've always
Wow.
wanted one.
Thank you. Exactly.
It's gonna
Mike,
be I
you've always wanted one as well.
Dreamed
Thank
of those mugs.
we're going to leave it down there. Okay, so I don't. Right now on my laptop, it's just called the Marc and Mike game,
Works.
which I think is actually all right. So what we're going to do, you're going to go head to head. We're going to play a game where you're going to have to guess the time it's taken to do the thing that I say. So I'm going to list something, and you're going to have to get the closest answer wins on this one. Okay. So I'm going to say the first one here is the fastest men's 100 meter time. This is what really draws it all together, guys. Time. We're playing on the word time.
Right, smooth.
I really had to just make sure that was there, because this does seem completely random now.
You should put that in the name. Time.
I know, but I didn't. Do you know what? I thought I'd had a name and then opened my laptop. Look, anyway, I'm flying by the seat of my pants now. Okay. Fastest 100 men's meter. Men's meter? We shouldn't say that. We should cut that out. Fastest men's. Oh God, we should stop now. Fastest men's 100 meter world record. So you're both going to have a punt. The closest answer wins. Tom, can you do some sort of scorekeeping for this? Okay. Oh, do you know what? I'll do it. I'm just going to write it on here. Right, okay.
Well, I know it's Usain Bolt, I think.
There's no extra points,
damn
unfortunately. It's just the time. I'm just after the time.
So I ran a marathon like last year, and I can't even really think about how long 100 meters is.
That's all right. Are you just trying to tell everyone that you ran a marathon?
I was just trying to flex there. Yeah, had to get that in. You can't run a marathon and not tell people.
Or a half marathon, as we all know.
Yeah, you'll get there, John.
Okay.
Raise money for getting charities.
Oh, your little half marathon. Oh, well done.
I don't know, like 9.3 seconds.
9.3 seconds.
I was going to go 9.8.
Mark, you are the closest, so you win that point. It's 9.58 seconds.
Oh, we were
pretty close.
Right in the middle.
Okay, so you would have won, but you're not playing.
Nice.
Right, okay. We're going to go. Okay, how long is the Rubik's Cube solving world record?
Oh, that's something crazy, isn't it? Like, just thinking of those videos you see online.
It's got to be under 10 seconds, right? Like,
well, you say what you want to say.
You're against each other.
Yeah,
Stop
sorry.
Like, just make these notes in your head, Mike. Come on.
Cool.
I know you're business partners, but
I'm going to say like 4.5 seconds.
okay.
I'm going to go more. I'm going to say like 6.2.
Mark, you've won again. The world record, get ready for this because it is pretty special. 3.13 seconds.
That's mental,
How'd you do that? How'd you do that? 3.13 seconds.
Move that fast?
Have you ever managed to do one?
No, never.
Okay. What was the time from launch to splashdown on the Apollo 11 moon landing mission?
From launch to splashdown?
To splashdown on the moon. It's best not to ask too many questions about the question.
Yeah, sorry. I know you're not.
That's all right.
I mean, yeah, I don't even know where to start on that.
Wait, so they went up on the moon and then back down?
Yeah, back down to Earth.
Was it in it? It can't have been in a day. Oh,
Have a punt, guys. There's quick game's a good game.
Yeah, so I'm
42 hours.
42 hours. Okay.
I don't know.
I'm going to say like 2.5 months.
2.5 months. Okay, Mike has won that one.
Yes.
It's 8 days.
Oh, okay.
3 hours, 18 minutes. So we're
to be fair,
2-1. Just to right. Longest tennis match in history.
Oh, God.
Don't overthink
they
it.
do get long, don't they?
They do get long. Yeah.
Let me think. Like 9.5 hours.
9.5 hours.
Can it cross over days, tennis matches?
It can do, I think. But it's, well, if
This is
I don't think you
conferring
can
again,
catch
isn't
it. If you're like playing and then it gets dark and they stop, they don't count the hours before they open up the court again, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so they can open up the court again and continue the hours.
Yeah.
So let's go like 12.5 hours.
What did you say? 9.5.
9.5.
Mark's got the point. It's 11 hours, 5 minutes.
Sweet.
Yeah, you just about got it. Okay, right, okay.
Anything on Earth, am I right with?
Yeah. If you in space, no idea. Right, okay. Mark, it's 3, Mike 1. It's all to play for, though. It's the cut. It's the mug. Come on. There's some
Take my eyes off the prize.
real
is
jeopardy.
the cup
Longest time holding someone's breath.
So you've got people that like go underwater for a long time.
Ages. Yeah, I reckon it's over 10 minutes. Let's go 13 minutes, 50 seconds.
Okay.
I think I've gone too low.
Yeah, I was going to go sort of over 15. So if you've gone 13, I'll go 15 minutes.
Yeah, Mark, you've won that one as well.
Oh,
it's
mate.
29 minutes.
29.
What?
And 3 seconds. How crazy is that? How long do you
my
reckon you could hold your
God.
breath? It's going to make a shit segment for a podcast.
Is that a good
Yeah.
game?
How long do you reckon you could do it? Should we do that in the
I reckon
office?
Just
Should we
over
do
a
it
minute. Yeah,
tomorrow?
we'll do it on Wednesday. Yeah.
I did it. I did it for 2.5 minutes at a breath workshop, which
you?
totally shocked
Oh,
me.
yeah.
And was it like, were you really struggling at the end of it?
No, I felt pretty
It's
chill.
just like you were pretty chill.
Yeah, and they sort of build it up. It's when the sort of whole Wim Hof thing went crazy, and Rob bought me one of those breath workshops.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, well, no, it was amazing. Yeah, and they build you up to it for quite a while. But yeah, we did
So
2.5
I don't
minutes.
think then 29 minutes you can work to that.
It's achievable, isn't it? Come back to me in 18 months.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Part 3. We're just going to be Mark. Why is he not talking? Longest plank. as in someone holding a plank. Not,
You know what?
it's time, people.
I saw about this the other day. I saw the guy that did it. I saw a video clip, but I can't remember how long it was for.
So it hasn't helped you then, has it? Watching
No. I keep underestimating, so I'm going to go more than what I think.
Go for it.
I think it's like 28 hours.
28 hours.
28
someone holding
hours
a
was
plank.
planking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't let my response, don't let my reaction inform your answer.
I
Mark.
keep answering first as well, so
Yeah.
I'm giving.
Yeah, I'm not
True.
just letting you do that. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go.
So he's gone for 20.
I'm going to go for like 20 minutes.
Okay, so you have still won, but you've gone desperately under what it is, but it's 9 hours, 38 minutes. 28 hours is a long time.
That is a long time. Yeah.
That was a guy called Joseph Sarlek. Does that name ring a bell from the video you watched?
Not really. I just remember him who was like oily with his shirt off.
Okay. Okay.
We won't go into that anymore. We'll end that there, yeah?
Okay. Oily with his shirt off. Didn't we almost make the soundbite on the first episode?
Let's not go there, John.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right, okay. This is the last one. Longest officially released song. Longest officially released song.
Officially released.
It's 5-1 to Mark at the minute.
Yeah,
there's nothing to
down
play
and
for.
out.
The mug's out.
Tubular
but-
Bells count as like one song, or does that count as an album?
There's got to be someone that just was like taking the mick with it and just made it as long as he possibly could on like a streaming service, really.
This
I'm
is a
gonna
cor-
go- sorry,
Sorry,
go
no, you go.
I'm going to go 29 minutes.
29 minutes, okay?
I reckon it's longer than that. I reckon it's an hour and a half.
Okay, it's actually 138 hours, 41 minutes, 20 seconds. No, do you know what it's not? It's by, this was recorded out in India by Dr. Jagadish Pillai. I feel like I've respected the pronunciation of his name there. And it was basically a biblical story, I say biblical story, an epic story that he made a musical version of, and it was that.
Wow.
It was that long.
Jesus.
Send that to us afterwards. I'd like to.
Yeah.
Well, not listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But
Double speed.
I'd like to dip my toe in and see what it's about.
But it does mean you clawed one back. So for pride, at least you haven't just finished on one. So the score at the end of the game is 5 points to Mark, 2 points to Mike. Well done.
Mark
Well
home.
played, mate.
Thank you. Yep.
Well
played.
done. That was
Well done,
brilliant.
mate. Good going.
Mark, I'll just... if you just
This is what it's all about.
there you go. Exactly.
This is why we
camera
came on.
Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll share it at the office.
A communal mug. Okay, right. We are going to end with the closing tradition. Mum has sent another question in for you both.
Nice.
Thanks, Lisa.
Let's play that now. There we go.
Hi, Mike and Mark. I absolutely love your charity, and I also loved watching John run in the Rochford Half Marathon in support of your charity as well. Do you have anything else planned for him? Thank you.
It's like you suggested I run for the charity. That's not what happened. Just so we can clear that up.
How long can you plank, John?
How can I play? Yeah. It depends. Could we get a sound beam?
Well, you tell me.
I don't think we're going to go 9 hours though. I don't think it's 9 hours. Anything else in anything else in the works?
Trying to
Would you
think
not-
if we could take on all of those questions, and John would have to do each of those elements.
Yeah.
But going to the moon might be quite
Going to the
tough.
moon, yeah,
Yeah,
we got to
that's
make it a
true.
bit more realistic. Yeah,
A lot of
You
fun
can make that a
with
little series, can we? Like
Yeah.
challenges with John.
yeah.
I think you've thrown around some pretty good ideas. It sounded like there were some intense challenges for 24-hour runs,
Yeah,
and we could maybe push the boat out like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think anything.
When you
that's
say
just-
when you say we, you just mean me.
yeah,
okay.
we can think of things that push the boat out.
I've already
So
done my
it makes
marathon, John. We've been doing this.
God, Mike. All right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What about sponsored? Don't out me for paddle.
How long can you play a paddle match for?
It gets me out the house. Longer than I should.
Yeah,
but what a
what-
great question. Yeah, I think it's. I don't know if it's one that we can answer right now, but there's stuff in the
There's
pipeline.
loads of
Yeah, I think there's
ideas,
already
yeah.
ideas there, definitely to work on. And I'm really, just to touch on that, mate, again, you have championed us massively in the time that we've met you, and the support has been huge. And I know we have a lot of conversations about what you want to do to help. And it doesn't go unnoticed, mate. It's massive and it's huge what you've done for the charity. So as much as people are hearing about us and the impact of music, they should also hear about how much of a help you've been. So thank you.
Thank you.
No, it's been massive, man. And just like, I know you say, oh, it's just a little race or whatever, but that half marathon, raising like over £1,000, no one has ever done that for us before. No one's even come close to doing that before. So the fact that you decided to do that, you rallied those people to raise that money, is so amazing, and we are so grateful. And it makes a huge difference, like we've been talking about. So.
Honestly, it was an absolute honour, and it continues to be an honour and a privilege to get to know you and to even play a small part in what you guys are doing. So thank you for committing another evening to come and sit down and talk to us about the work that you do and the impact you make. And I just hope that, me doing a half marathon, just starts. I don't know, just starts inspiring other people to think, okay, well, what could I be doing to try and support such an amazing cause? Guys, thank you so much. It is, as always, a pleasure to sit down and chat with you. I'm lucky enough to get to do it most days now as well. But I think we're done. We'll wrap it up there.
Well done.
Thanks so much, mate. Thank you. Let's have a
Great
cup of tea in
work,
this one.
guys. Well done.
Nice one, mate.
All finished.